Welcome to Bitstorm, a comedy game design podcast by two guys who know nothing about comedy nor game design. I'm Ben Slinger, and with me on this fine evening is Trevor Scott.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello. I didn't realise that we'd started.
Yeah.
I'd only hit record.
You just rocked up.
Just rocked up, and then all of a sudden, oh shit,
connected, and we're podcasting.
Now we're podcasting.
I thought we'd do some movies tonight.
Oh, okay. Let me get the bot up and running. There we go.
Good.
Yeah.
So, for those who haven't heard this before, this is a game where we each have a random movie selector in front of us. So, pulling from popular movies of the past, 70 years or something.
Yeah. I can't even remember what it picks from at the moment. It's just, it picks from something.
Yep. And we're going to take those movies. We're going to each get a movie, look at the title, the synopsis. We may or may not know what the movie is, but we're basically just going to use it as a jumping off point for a video game. Mm-hmm. Maybe it will tie into the actual movie. Maybe it will just use it as an idea for a game. See where we go.
Yeah. All
right. Well,
okay.
Let's do it. 3-2-1 movie.
3-2-1 movie. Movie I've got here is called The Guilty.
Oh, and I have The Crazies.
Ooh. A demoted police officer assigned to a call dispatch desk is conflicted when he receives an emergency phone call from a kidnapped woman.
Okay. And mine is 4 friends find themselves trapped in their small hometown after they discover their friends and neighbours are going quickly and horrifically insane.
Okay.
So I feel like we can combine these ideas.
I was thinking that, like, maybe you play the kind of similar to Killer Frequency.
Yes.
Where you are in the radio station doing all this sort of stuff.
Yep.
You play the police officer at his desk, and he gets this phone call through, and has to try and help them through and help them on to the next thing by answering the right questions. And
yeah, I like this. I think it's got a bit of the sitting down at your desk and you've got a fake OS and that sort of thing. A little bit of that sort of thing where you're you can see you've got your interface, the calls coming in and searching and stuff. But I feel like this would work well if there's a bit of first person exploration as well. So you can stand up from your desk and you're just in this small town police station, and maybe you have to go to the evidence room and check something out there. Maybe you have to, maybe you can just wander around, go get a cup of coffee. You can go look at the wanted posters that are set up or whatever. Maybe you get some clues from that at different points. But as shit starts going down, I think you also have stuff that's happening outside potentially.
Yeah, and I think what this also happens in Killer Frequency. How much did you actually play of Killer Frequency?
I haven't played a ton.
Okay, so you can actually get up and walk around and go through the station. Through the radio station in Killer Frequency. Yep. So I'm like, okay, you're literally just doing everything that's happening in there.
Yeah.
And of course, you are the only one in the radio station except for the person in the other room.
Right.
But they never come out. So when you're walking around, it feels creepy as all fuck, and you hear noises and all this sort of stuff. I like the idea that there are a couple of other police officers in there.
Yeah, I was going to say, maybe we can...
Some people in the the jail cell is adjoining, and they start going crazy as well. And you start realizing that this is...
or maybe you get to the point where one of the people in the jail cells, they're actually sensible. They're in there for whatever reason. Punching out someone who was trying to harass someone or something, right? They're in there for assault, but for a good reason, and but
they're actually a doctor and they can,
and you end up letting them out because you need the help because everyone outside is going insane from some infection thing that's affecting their brain.
Turns out it's radio waves.
Turn off all the radios. Switch to AM. It's the FM radio.
It's the frequency modulation rather than the amplitude modulation. See, the way that it works is instead of and they do this whole thing of they pull down like a sheet and they're showing that but by changing the amplitude of everything that makes
there's a whole
vocal wave rather than
TED Talk.
The way it actually works in frequency modulation, they change the frequency around this one point, and that Trevor's just bragging about his knowledge now. I may have actually, that was one of my original courses on doing like how TV transmissions and all that sort of stuff worked, and radio was one part of that. It was kind of fun, and a lot of maths go into how long an antenna should be and all this sort of stuff, and maybe you can bring that into it, that you have to actually do some mathematics when you're recreating an antenna because it gets ripped out by someone.
Definitely. It was never the 5G, it was the 1G all along.
Yeah, it's been there all along, and it kind of fucked everything up.
Terror at 1G.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. What is it? Just the one group of crazies that you're dealing with, or is it just you help this one group out, and then you got to help other groups out? I
think part of it is solving the mystery of what's happening.
Yeah.
And figuring that out. So I think there is a group of crazies, and initially you're just like, oh, it's some known delinquents in the town. Like they've gone a bit further and a bit more extreme than they usually do, but like it's not completely out of the ordinary.
You send Deputy Darren out, and he'll arrest one of them. It's the only one that he finds, and brings him into the jail cell, so you can actually go and see.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I like the idea that later on, Deputy Dewey actually, kind of starts changing a little bit and becoming a little bit crazy himself.
Yeah, that could be good as like a third act turn, actually. I feel like once you've established that it is transmissible, but you've maybe forgotten by that point that the deputy had gone out.
He's just doing paperwork.
You think you're safe.
He's just doing paperwork.
And suddenly he flips the fucking table.
But, he's been very still for, the last act of the game. Like, and then
in fact, you think
you go over there and he's actually just been scratching something into the table the whole time. And it's
that's cool. Yeah.
And
you think he's been typing, but you get over and his fingers are just bleeding down to all his fingernails.
Because he's just been using his fingernails to scratch, and they've all pulled off. It's like, there's just something about that is just... And he's been there the whole time. You could have stopped him at any time and, protected yourself, but now one of them's in there with you.
I like the idea, though, that you've got, from your view, from your desk, you've got a view... outside, right? Out the windows, sort of big full length windows, and so you see certain things play out. The environment out there change a bit, and by the end of it, you've literally got like people screaming and running, and these crazy things like banging at the glass, the locked doors and cracking the glass, and full zombie mode.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm picturing, someone comes in and inquires about a missing dog or something like that, and so you have to do a little thing of, here's what we have to do with this, and you can put something up on the notice board.
If you're working as dispatch, basically, like
I'm considering front desk, like.
But I think I like, and maybe I don't know how cop stations actually work, but like maybe it can be, they're short staffed. You're working dispatch and front desk, so like you're taking radio calls from everyone who's out there in the streets.
Yeah,
maybe you've got 3 or 4 different units,
and 911 goes, we're slammed tonight. This is in your area. Can you just take this call?
Yeah,
and so
that sort of thing can come through too, for sure. Yeah, exactly. And so a lot of it is that, and like telling him where to go, like sending out, calling car 2A or whatever, and saying, hey, like we need you over, Frankston Street, to check on this lost dog, or this vicious dog or whatever, like this rabid dog.
I love the idea that it got sort of spread by this dog originally, and now it's converted into this hyper rabies or something like that. And
hyper rabies, yes, hyper rabies 2000.
Yeah, I mean that was a Limp Bizkit album, wasn't it? I had to think of the most 2000s band I could think of.
Hyper Rabies 2000 and the hot dog flavored water.
Yeah.
All right, 3 to 1
movie. That was really cool. I like it when things like that come together.
Big Top Scooby-Doo.
Destination Wedding.
Okay.
Ooh. I love the idea of these. I mean, the Destination Wedding. There's basically about two emotionally broken strangers who meet on the way to a destination wedding.
Right.
I like the idea that they're on a train, and the train kind of breaks down in this one little area, and there's like a mystery, the mystery gang or whatever, the mystery machine sort of crime solving people who are, investigating something, and you two are just along for the ride, and it's like you could sort of twist that formula of the Scooby-Doo a little bit too.
I like that. Yeah, so we don't go licensed, but it's very clearly inspired by the Scooby game.
There's a hippie Volkswagen van, and
or it's we take it a little bit. Maybe they couldn't afford a van. They're all in a Volkswagen Bug. They all have to squeeze in the back seat. But luckily they don't have a giant dog. They have a ferret.
Yeah.
Called Doobie.
Yeah. Love it. There's something about I know I'm in a bit of a horror mood at the moment again. Mm-hmm. There's something about horror. I've just come off doing a whole heap of improv shows about Monster of the Week, so it's very much there with the hunters and all that sort of stuff. But I just love the idea of this bumbling like YouTube group that are trying to do this stuff. But you play maybe you're just one of the people from this destination wedding. You're heading off to a destination wedding, right? And it breaks down.
Yeah, we don't need the couple thing.
You see someone who you went to high school with, and they're filming this thing, and you get to talking, and then all of a sudden you're in the midst of come along with us. We're trying to solve this mystery of this haunted mansion. It's like, oh great, So you go along for the ride, but shit's fucked.
Shit's fucked, man. I like that. I wonder if they grab you to film it. Maybe something happens where you have to start filming it, and so a lot of it is through the eyes of this phone.
Oh, literally.
You can choose whether to do vertical or portrait. It's up to you. Depends on what platform you're going for.
I think their previous cameraman,
disappears or something.
Either disappears or is in the hospital because of what happened.
Maybe that's what happened. Maybe the train hit him.
And that's why it stopped.
That's why it stopped.
Yeah.
You go out to investigate. But I like the idea of, if you can get it to work, having them talk into the camera, right? You can move about, but they, if you can get the animation and stuff to work well, they're something happens and one of them comes over and, starts talking to the camera. Whoa, did you see that? We just saw a spectral, emittance from the fridge over there or whatever, and you can try to capture it.
I can't remember what that Phasmophobia. It's kind of like a more cartoony version of that. And you can just have it as you happen to stop here. You're just friends of these people. You're heading off to this destination wedding. You really need to get there, but
that's just the pretense for
the train's
getting
broken down. You're there now. It's kind of like the Quarry. You're sort of you're stuck in there now. Deal with it until the train's not going till the next morning, and it's just one night.
Yeah, one night in a haunted house.
One night in a haunted house. That's all you need to do. because you got no money to you were expected to be at the wedding, and the wedding's not till 4 o'clock the next day, so you're fine.
Yeah,
you've plenty of time to get there.
Plenty of time.
And look, your friend from high school said that after we do this, I'll drive you there.
Yeah, and we'll even pay you some proceeds from the monetization.
From the monetization, yeah. And no, it'll be great because you'll get lots of exposure.
Of course.
Because
are you a photographer? Maybe are you a cinematographer of some sort?
You're the wedding photographer.
Oh, okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah. And so they go, our photographer or our cinematographer or whatever.
Yeah, our iPhone holder.
Our selfie stick.
Yeah, we call him selfie stick.
He got hit by the train. That's why it stopped. And,
But this is our only chance.
This is our only chance. And look, you know me, mate. But I mean, you can always go down the trope of you find out that, you never knew this guy. This guy is just, basically saw that you had a camera around your neck.
Yeah. Scammed you. Hey, it's me from high school. Remember Mrs. Kanicki's class?
Oh, yeah. And it's one of those things of you don't actually know these people.
Yeah.
And maybe
and one of them's a ghost.
Well, or maybe one of them is actually causing this whole thing to go down, and this is how they're going to get famous. Like,
oh right, okay, yeah, that's pretty good. And then you rip their mask off at the end.
Yeah, and it just shows muscle and all this sort of stuff, and it turns out that you've just ripped skin off their face.
You just took off their skin. And I would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for your like this.
Oh God, that's so disgusting. And that's when it turns from that cartoony sort of graphics into like
just full realistic.
Like, have you seen the movie Smile?
It's like when they do one of those Ren and Stimpy close-ups.
Yeah. Have you seen the movie Smile?
I have, yeah.
The creature at the end that is the elongated.
Yes,
head thing. Yeah. That's exactly what you sort of see. You just see that, and it's just smiling at you. And that's the start of Smile 2. Yeah. So
this was all a big marketing
3-1
scheme
movie
for Smile 2.
And Smile 2 is coming.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
Speaking of 2, Backdraft 2.
Backdraft. Deliverance.
Oh.
I don't actually know a lot about this movie, except for like the
yeah. So sort of set in the deep south, and you're a firefighter in the deep south.
Okay,
I kind of like that. It's sort of.
A black firefighter in the deep south, just to really make it difficult. I mean, that's it's Deliverance is really it's the racist hicks, right? I don't know how much race is brought into it, but
they are fucked. Yeah, that that movie is just
your basic Trump.
It's something else, but. Yeah, I kind of like the idea of this being sort of like a what's it called? That what was the game? The Firewatch. Yeah, kind of like Firewatch.
What was the game? The Firewatch, the one where you're watching.
Where you're watching fire. But because you're actually investigating a deadly fire of I think that you're an arson investigator that goes and investigates this house that is burnt down in the backwoods of whatever state in the US.
I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, fuck it. It's the backwoods of Tasmania.
Yeah.
And so you've got to investigate, and you're just doing your typical arson investigation.
But there's
I'm thinking kind of like Barbarian. You kind of come across.
Oh, you find
some fucked up shit in
bunker.
there.
And, okay.
Because, you need to take it a little bit further. And basically, this fire was accidentally set, and now you're in the middle of nowhere. Your tires are being slashed, and you've got to get out of this, off this mountain, basically. And so I know you can kind of go into sort of almost an I don't know why, but my mind just went to kind of Kevin McAllister, but on a fucking mountain, setting traps and shit, just trying to get away from these. We
kind of did that a couple of weeks ago with the Terminator coming to the farmhouse. But But I think I like this as I like the Firewatch aspect. I think you've got the house. The remains of the house and the sort of surrounding area.
Oh, I love that you can even just have the prologue and it's you going through and doing, an analysis on this first property, and you determine that it's, it's a house that was burnt down because of X reason, and then you go to the next one and it's fine, and you determine it for something else, and
and you start building up your relationship with you could have a similar thing with
your radio
dispatcher or whatever.
And then you go out to like the third or fourth. It's, lull them into that false sense of security.
Oh, yeah. But I think giving them, like, they have to navigate a bit. Like, they have to have, like in Firewatch, where you're using your map, you're using your compass and stuff.
Yeah.
Because, and the reason I want to get them used to that is because then we fucking take it away from them.
Yeah.
After the shit goes down. It's like, I don't have my compass anymore. I've got my map, but I've got 17 matches left that I can look at it by.
I've got a compass, but it's only the one with a pin and a pen. It's not the other type of compass. So, I mean, this
so I can draw circles really well. I can draw
circles
but I
really
can't
fucking
tell
well, but I can't tell. I can't tell what direction I'm going. And it's overcast the whole time. Like, or the fog.
So I can't use the compass as a sundial to see to figure out where the sun's coming from.
Can't even do that, because the clouds have just scattered the rays. And
and I think I think you get there late as well, and the sun starts going down. Like, I think
there's
classic
just
horror sort of
that
situation. And then you start.
So you come with another arson investigator.
Sure.
And, you're both going through, and you've already gone through 3 houses together,
you've
4
got
houses,
a relationship with them now.
You've got a relationship, you're still talking about maybe in between each one, you can sort of have that little home scene, you're interacting with your family or whatever, and you get a little bit more of that, and you get to talk to them about what's going on in your family. And then when you pull the rug out from, like, the bottom of the literally you pull the rug out, and it's like, there's a trapdoor here, and you open it up, and
and then you metaphorically pull the rug out, because now
shit's gone fucked, and you reveal,
I think your partner gets trapped down there maybe initially,
or just gets spiked through the floor.
Well, no, I think because I like the idea of you feel like you can save them. They're trapped on the other side of this trapdoor somehow, right? And telling you about some of the stuff that's down there. So you're using your imagination.
Yeah.
And then you're searching around for ways to get them out.
Yeah.
But they go silent at some point once they've told you about some of the shit that's down there. And then you open it up, and then you find what happened to them.
A good horror film will sort of reluctantly show. Yeah. It's more about just building up that dread and just letting it out with little jump scares here and there, but it's like you just got to keep that dread going. You just got to keep that dread going and let it build up and release a little bit of that tension, get a little bit of a laugh out. And
I started playing a game that's on Game Pass the other day called Those Who Remain.
Mm.
And my 10-year-old son Taz was with me, and we had to stop playing pretty quickly because it's pretty good at that thing. Essentially, in that game, anywhere after a certain point, very early on, anywhere out of the light when you look out into the dark, you just see figures with eyes looking at you.
Oh, yeah.
And you'll switch a light on out there and they'll just instantly disappear if they were in the light, but you'll still see the ones behind them. Like, it's just this ever present.
Yeah.
If there's darkness, these things look at you. And I didn't play for that long, but you can sort of head towards them and you just kind of get dizzy and like you can't go any further that way. Like, it's not like a death scene. I didn't try that hard.
Yet.
But yeah, that sort of, yet. I'm sure there, yeah. But yeah, that building of dread, that sort of thing, like, was really good.
I still remember the game Fear when that first came out, and there was just those little things. The problem was that
fucking ladder scene.
Oh my god! Yeah.
I don't think I've ever in a game gone down a ladder where it like turns your camera around in that way. In the same way since. Like, I'm always expecting something standing behind me.
Yeah. So there was something weird that Fear didn't work very well on the last PC that I went to play it on. And it turns out that something in the game of Fear actually reacted badly with the keyboard driver that I had.
Okay.
And it would actually change the speed of some parts of the game. So at certain points, the scares didn't happen quite right.
Oh, okay.
And did
it make it even scarier?
Yeah, it was some weird fucked up thing that happened with the game that just, it felt unnatural as you were playing it. And if you restarted the game, it would start going again properly, and then it would just go out of sync or do something weird after time. And it was like, it's a well-known thing. I'm pretty sure it was actually the keyboard I'm now using, which is the G19 Logitech from many years ago. But just, it didn't play well with that particular keyboard. And the one thing I didn't like about it was
way to make a horror game even more creepy.
Yeah. But the weird thing is, like, when you started playing it and you thought that you could get hurt by these things, that's when you were like scared.
Yeah.
But once you realize that, you don't get hurt by any of these things, it's sort of, it lost some of that scaredness, and then they came back with that ladder scene.
Yeah. I think horror games suffer from that a little bit because it's hard to have high stakes when you can just reload your last save.
Yeah.
And so I think that's why a lot of them go for jump scares.
Yeah.
Or dread works well where like dying is not the thing you're worried about, or getting caught or whatever is not necessarily the thing you're worried about. It's just the general atmosphere. Because, like in a game where you're running away from something, you make one wrong move, you got caught. Yeah, like that gives you a shock in the moment, but you do it enough times and it's not scary anymore because you can just reload, and then it just gets annoying when you fail. So I think that is a tricky thing with horror in games.
Yeah. And one of the things that I've been looking into, what makes something scary and what makes something scarier. And have you seen the movie The Strangers?
Maybe.
The first one is one of the most fucked up films I've ever seen, and it's because it feels like these people, for the most part, do everything right, and they still can't win. You know, like,
I think I have seen this.
They are doing
Liv Tyler.
Liv Tyler, and I can't remember the guy's name, but 3 people come to their place and basically start stalking them and terrorizing them over the night and all this sort of stuff. When you get a smart protagonist and they are doing everything that you would do, and the bad people still win, that to me is the scariest thing, because it's like, oh shit, I literally would have done what they did, and it's that real choice, and trying to make it that, if the people do the wrong thing, great.
Well, then you can just get annoyed at them when you're watching, and I guess that's one of the
tropes.
The upsides, though, as well, of a video game is you can't blame it on the character doing the wrong thing.
No.
Because you're the character and you
You're
made
the
the
character.
fucking choice. Like, unless you take that away from them to be able to choose, but...
That was a cool one. We ended up talking more about the movies at the end. So let's
right.
jump into one more very quick one. 3-1 movie.
3-1 movie. Okay. Aquamarine from 2006.
Bloodsport.
And Bloodsport? Oh, shit, that's good. Aquamarine is two teenage girls discover that mermaids really do exist.
And Bloodsport is the classic Jean-Claude Van Damme film where he's the US soldier Frank Dux, who gets accepted into the Kumite.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I fucking love that these two girls wander in, find out that, mermaids are real.
Wander in and find a mermaid fight club.
Well, I'm thinking that they wander in, they find, mermaids are real, and then as they're, tracking a little bit further, they find themselves in like this blood sport arena because they wandered into the wrong wrong.
Well, I think
thing.
I think there's like fin boxing or something that these mermaids do, and you, as one of these characters, have to like build up your own skills, and they're like, "What? They don't even have fins. How are they going to compete in our fin boxing tournament?" It's like, well, it doesn't say in the rule book
that you
actually have to have fins, and so you have to learn, the way of the fin.
Yeah,
and it's essentially a story-based fighting game. A little bit of like Punch Club.
Ooh, I kind of love the idea that her name is like the lead one that you play is Rihanna Finn.
Oh yeah,
like,
her name's Finn.
Her name is Finn. So it's like, I may not have fins, but I am a Finn. Like, and they go,
I may not have fins, but I'm a Finn to the core.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something about that, having these.
She's also from Finland.
I'm a Finn through and through.
I'm Finnish. Finnish.
Oh my God, that's so fucking funny. Yeah, there's something about having a teenage girl in this fucking brutal, like to the death fighting, like a Mortal Kombat-esque thing. And the story goes through that, she's having to train up. They won't let the other one fight. They've captured her. And the only way that she's going to get her back is to
win this fucking tournament
Fin Club,
and kill a bunch of mermaids. Do they fight in the water, do you think?
Oh, yeah. When they're training,
So
they do it above water, and then it's like, okay, now for the real.
And you can hold your breath for 7 minutes, right?
You got gills, don't you? Splash.
Just engage your gills once we get in there. What?
And then because she's Finnish, she actually does have gills, and she just
you find out that everyone from Finland.
Everyone with the surname Finn, actually. It's not just people from Finland.
Right.
You have the surname Finn and be from Finland.
So if you change your name officially, will you?
Yeah.
Okay.
They do, like, end of the game, there's like an end cutscene where she gets married and she goes back to the Kumite and dives into the water, and her gills don't come out.
She's taken her husband's name.
Because she took her husband's name.
Yeah, that was a mistake.
The whole thing is just a story about why taking your husband's name is
is the patriarchy bringing you down from your natural point where you should be. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
that's the end of tonight's episode. A lot of mermaid murder at the end. Mermaid,
but at least we're crushing the patriarchy in the meantime. So thank you for joining us this week on Bitstorm. If you'd like to find our previous episodes, go to podchaser.com/Bitstorm. You can find them all there. Leave us a review. Tell us what you thought.
I don't know why I've just got fucking Death Clock in my head now. Fucking Metalocalypse was a fucking good show. Anyway, that's not who do the start and end song. Maybe Ben wants to change it up and put like do Mermaider as the final.
I don't know if we can get away with that.
Anyway, the song that we play at the start and end of each episode is Mount Defiance off of the album Containment Failure by the band Kuradust. And yeah, you can find it for free at kuradust.bandcamp.com and download it and listen to it, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So thank you again for joining us this week on Bitstorm. I'm Ben Slinger.
I'm Trevor Scott. And I'm Finnish.
Nope.